In this box is Peak, and some might say Cap, but before we show off what this is, and I really want to see how this one turned out, I do have some other figures I would like to show you guys. So welcome to the figure haul, how you doing? Hopefully you're having a good one. And we're gonna start with some figures that you might remember from that live stream we did a few weeks ago. Like these Kirby figures from the Ultra Detail line made by Medicom Toy. I'm a huge sucker for this line. I'm also a huge idiot because I keep buying Kirby figures when I really don't need them. Because they're kind of making some deep cuts with these figures, like with this little guy. He's from the original game on the Game Boy holding his Oshimai sign in grayscale. I believe the sign says bye-bye in the Western version. But yeah, this is from the very end of the game when you beat it. Like, who thinks to make a figure of that? That feels really special to me, which is why I really wanted this figure. But then I just couldn't resist buying more of them. You got Kirby enjoying a nice slice of strawberry cake, which is probably the most generic of the four I bought, but I still like how he looks here. Just a little bit off model from how he typically looks nowadays. You got the Kirby Mass Attack stack, which is like 6 in 1, and I like the eyes on these Kirbys. They have stars in their eyes, which is very cute. And then the one that kind of ended up being my favorite is the Kirby and the Rainbow Curse version because of the faithfulness to the claymation art style featured in that game. Like this lumpy little Kirby, it looks fantastic. And this was like $13. All of these were like 13 or less, which is crazy to me considering the quality and just like the uniqueness of these figures. Also, you should look into the Ultra Detail line because you never know what you're gonna find. They make so much weird shit and I absolutely love it. Next up, these were a very last minute purchase and I have them on a hat because I don't want them to get scratched up on the table. These are the Dragon Quest Crystal Monster Collection figures. I think I said that right. I bought one for the Slime and the King Slime. But as you can see, they are a very translucent blue, very clear, and the way light bounces off of these figures looks so good. They made a bunch of these. I think there was like 8 in total. Didn't want to buy every single one, wanted to see what these were like before I did that. And they're like 2,000 yen each, and they're very heavy, so like buying them in bulk might be costly in terms of shipping. But man, as far as like Dragon Quest figures go, these are ace. We got one more figure from the live stream, so let's bring her out. Here is Jill Stingray, the Pop-Up Raid L from Valhalla. Let me tell you, holding this figure by the fluff honestly hurts. This is very pointy. I'm kind of surprised. I'm gonna put her down now. Either way, I love Jill. We all love Jill. Such a good character design. If I was going to criticize anything about this figure, I just wish it was more in line with the art style from the game or the promotional art. I'll put my favorite piece of art from the game on screen right now. That's ideally what I would want for a Jill figure, but she still looks really good here. That cool, unbothered demeanor that she has, smoking a quick cigarette, looking off to the side, wearing her iconic bartender uniform, which really highlights how sexy her legs are here. The sculpting is magnificent as far as her legs go. And then she's also wearing that very vibrantly red winter coat, which does change up her silhouette a little bit, but I love the design of this coat. I like the way she's wearing it as it's sliding off of her shoulders. I gotta say, the paint apps on this figure are pretty solid too. You know, simple color choices, lightly shaded where it needs to be, but it's all very effective, nothing to really complain about. The sculpting detail looks pretty nice here too. The light creases in her skirt, the bagginess of her coat, her hairstyle is certainly on point. I like the way they sculpted her knees for some reason. They look really good to me, but I will say there are some quality control issues on my copy, most notably seen on the fluff of her coats. There's some paint transfer from her hair, which is pretty noticeable. Doesn't seem like it would be too difficult to clean, but it is a little disappointing. I believe this is still available like everywhere. Didn't seem too hard to find it when I did a quick search on AmiAmi. So if you want this, it's readily available. All right, table's clear. Is it time to finally open that box? No, we're opening this first. We have the Uni Figma from Xenoblade 3. Surprisingly not the peak of this video. I don't think I've seen anybody unbox this. There was a lot of people unboxing Neo, but Eunie's pretty good too. Like, why wouldn't people unbox her? Maybe the hype died down. I don't know. Maybe everybody just got really pissed off we never got Noah. At the very least, they should have announced, like, you know, Senna, so that we could get the trio of girls from the main party. That would have made sense. I just will never understand how Monolith Soft or Good Smile Company or Max Factory could just sit on this franchise and do nothing with it as I unbox a figure from it. But you know what I mean, we should have way more at this point, because I think at least like 80% of its fan base would buy every figure they put out. All right, so I'm not planning to go like super in depth on the review here. I'm really just checking it out to see like how nice this looks, but I will say out of the box and just like from memory, this feels like a better Figma than Mio's. Mio's had like some odd restriction in terms of her articulation. Like you definitely weren't getting a split like this when it came to Mio. And because of the design of Mio's jacket and hair, she really wasn't able to look upwards. It was very annoying when you were trying to get a good pose. But Eunie actually can, thanks to a like change up in the joints used in the neck. In fact, her neck is a separate piece from the rest of her body, which I don't believe that's how it was with Mio. In fact, I don't think that's typically how it's done with most Figma, right? They even put a hinge joint on her hair, which will definitely get it out of the way, but it does look a little bit worse as a result, so I'm not like exactly sure how I feel about this yet. Oh, and her power frame, that belt around her waist, is actually connected by a ball joint in the back. So it feels a little loose and you can like dangle it about a little bit, but it's not gonna fall off. I actually do like the design of that just because it doesn't ever seem like it's super tight around the character's body, so this was a good way to approach that. Honestly, I'm kind of impressed with the articulation on this figure. Like, look at the ab crunch. It's like a 90-degree angle, and you can go pretty far back too if you would like to. Like, look at that. That's crazy. That is really impressive. All right, sorry, I cut just now just so I can get her into a better pose. I was kind of having trouble with the gun rod, putting it into her hand, but here we go. This is like one of 2 accessories. Thankfully, it looks amazing. As far as like a weapon on a Figma, this is very, very well painted. There's so much metallic paint, blue, gold, silver, gunmetal. Considering its intricate design too, the sculpt work here is very impressive. In fact, across the board, whether it be the accessories or Eunie herself, the paint apps and sculpting are top notch. It's honestly crazy to me how clean her outfit looks at this size. The sculpting of each feather of her wings, the flow of her hair sculpt, the sneakers look so fresh, god damn. And you know, the range of expressions feel very Eunie. You have the standard smile, which looks great in this instance, a shouting faceplate, very in character, very expressive, and then the one they call the sidelong glancing face, which is pretty funny looking, I can't lie. Definitely can get a lot of mileage out of this one. And then yeah, you're really not getting that many accessories. You have the gun rod, of course, which comes with a separate barrel piece, so you could focus on making it look more like a staff or a gun. And then she also comes with a little notebook, which if you've played the game, you know the significance of this. It makes it a very sweet accessory. Thinking about it makes me kind of emotional. I fucking love the ending of this game. Like honestly, I can't really think of anything to complain about with Eunie here. I think this is an excellent Figma, maybe even better than Mio's, which you might think is ridiculous for me to say. But that one did have a few restrictions here and there. Sometimes her legs pop out, the head issue. I don't know. It definitely had more accessories though. But at the end of the day, if you're a Xenoblade fan, then it's a win regardless. We just got another very, very good figure. I'm pretty sure she's still easily available too. If you want to pick this one up, I believe it's still on Umamusume and other sites. So be sure to check her out if you're interested. Someone though, please get me in contact with whoever I gotta talk to make more stuff like this happen. It's been like a year since Eunie was announced. We're dying out here. I'll take anything, any Xenoblade character, and I'll buy it guaranteed. Even Juju. Actually, that's a fucking lie. I would not buy that. But anybody else, you got me. Okay, you waited long enough. Let's find out what the hell I was talking about. I did leave a clue in the beginning. Real ones caught on to that. But without further ado, someone's gonna get so mad at me for calling this peak. But here we go. Oh shit, there she is. Oguri Cap, Ashen Miracle from Good Smile Company. Cap, as in peak, it was just so obvious. So I recently watched Cinderella Grey, the newest Umamusume season of anime. And I really liked it. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. And because of this show, I went back and watched almost everything else of Umamusume. I am officially caught up outside of the movie, which I'll watch very soon. Apparently, that's the best shit ever made. Very excited for that. And the thing is, I always really liked the look of this figure, but it was very expensive at like 27,000 yen or so. And I was always trying to be very selective on the figures from this franchise I bought because I haven't played the game or watched the anime to this point. But yeah, like I said, that show was very entertaining, and Oguri as a character was really fun too, and I quite liked her voice as well. She's a bit of a country bumpkin type, I guess, a little silly, a little goofy, and also just will not stop eating. Cafeterias fear her. They will turn her away because they just cannot satisfy her appetite. However, very endearing character that you just can't help but root for. Also, this base is really nice looking, actually. The starry sky, very blue, very pretty, has her name down there in like scripts. Very thick acrylic too, just feels quality to me. Get her out of the box. This looks phenomenal already. All right, so we just slot her in as so. Give it a little push, and we're good. You do, of course, have to put on her tail. The angle's a little awkward here because you have to do it like from above down. Like, I don't know why they designed it this way. And then yeah, she does come with a support stand, which honestly, at the moment, it doesn't really feel like it does anything. One thing that I'm very curious about are the sale numbers for this figure, because it feels like nobody cared about it, especially here in the States, which is understandable. The anime wasn't airing at the time, and the game wasn't out yet. In fact, that only came out a few weeks ago. And I was aware of the franchise's popularity over in Japan, but I was definitely caught off guard with how many people are playing this game now that it was released globally. Just feels like everybody is into Umamusume right now. So I'm wondering if this figure is going to catch on at some point. It's very difficult to find right now. She's pretty much sold out everywhere. I bought her from the Good Smile Company global site when they restocked her, and I'm pretty sure I got the last one, so I consider myself very lucky. But enough about that, because I want to talk about Oguri Cap. This figure looks immaculate. Now, you might be surprised that this is actually a wintry themed figure. It's not her main costume. It is extremely decorative. There is so much gold lining this costume alongside some very festive colors. Red and green make up the accents alongside the white, and then there's also some navy blue mixed on top of that. There's pearls dangling alongside her waist. Her jacket is lined with brooches. Even her goddamn belt is looking all fancy. That's nuts. And you know what? It doesn't stop there, because her boots also look magnificent. They got the brooches on the buckles, they got the Christmas colors, they're really glossy, they're creased where they should be, the bottom of the soles are red, there's some gold down here too, and you can't forget the horseshoes. That's like a necessity for these characters. Now, you might be surprised to hear me say that I think the shading on this figure is just pretty good. Across the board, it's solid for sure. For her hair, her skin, her outfit doesn't really use shading for the most part, but there is one exception, and that's her leggings. Her legs look top tier as far as paintwork goes. It is just extremely nice to look at. But yeah, to wrap things up, I do feel like they did Oguri Cap's character justice here. Her expression is so like determined and confident looking. I like the depth they gave to her mouth sculpt, and her eyes are printed on so cleanly, they're crystal clear. And her pose as she's leaping towards victory, her hair and tail fluttering voluminously behind her. It's all set up so dynamically. Oguri Cap's fiery spirit burns bright throughout this figure. It's so full of energy and amplified by the meticulous sculpting of her costume and windswept hair. She is aiming for the top, the peak, if you will, and I think she's gonna get there. Real quick, here she is side by side with my other Umamusume figures. You got Die with Scarlet and Rice Shower accompanying her. I think I've made some pretty good choices so far. I'm liking this lineup quite a bit. And just because of my own curiosity, I do want to do a very quick wobble test without the stand, and it seems pretty sturdy without this, so pretty impressive, liking that for sure. But real quick, we're going to move her to the side over here. Not the best spot, but what can you do? Because we have a last minute unboxing to do. This literally just came in the mail 5 minutes ago, so let's get it. If I didn't get to this now, it probably would take me another month or so because of just the rate I make these videos. So let's crack into this, check out what I bought. Believe it or not, but they actually showed this off at Anime Expo for the first time and put it up a couple days later. They did sell it at the event, but in limited quantities online, and I had to buy it because I thought this was really neat and pretty special as far as like a random announcement anime figure goes. So here we have, let's move the box real quick to the floor. This is the Hello Good Smile Pantheon Stocking with see-through sets, which just feels like the end game for the Hello Good Smile line. Like, this was what the entire line was leading up to. So yeah, I had to buy this. This is so neat. Believe it or not, but this will actually be the first time I'm looking at this line of figures, and probably the last. I don't have plans to continue, though I guess if I'm blown away, I'll change my mind. All right, so the way this works, this car is actually decently heavy, is that there are pegs inside of see-through, the name of the car, and you just put the little characters in their seats. First up, Panty, get her in there, and then Stocking. This is genuinely such a good idea for a figure, but there are a couple of notes here. One, they do come with separate bases if you would like to display them outside of see-through. But like, why would you buy this set if you were going to do that? And you might notice that Stocking has shorter hair. This is actually how she looked in the ending for the first season of Pantheon Stocking, which this figure is directly based on. And they do actually sell a version of Stocking with her longer hair, but I'm not sure if she would fit in the car with her longer hair. That I have no idea. But I'm not interested in buying that other version of Stocking because this is exactly what I want. It's very simplistic in terms of design and paint, but it's also aiming to replicate the look of the show, and they are nailing that. Like I said earlier, this is the art style used for the ending, so it only makes sense that this looks absolutely spot on. Both Panty and Stocking have very clean sculpt work and paint apps, and I don't know if this is a common feature in the Hello Good Smile line, but their heads tilts which does remind me of how they look in the ending as well. And of course, because this is a car, it actually rolls around. I don't know if that's very loud on the microphone, but yeah, it's cool. It feels very easy to slide around though, so if you're just like aiming to display this, which I think most people would, you might want to make sure your surface isn't too slippery. But either way, that's going to do it for me. Thank you very much for watching this unboxing haul. If you want to support the channel, like the video and leave me a comment. I also have a Patreon now if you would like to support me that way. It would mean a lot to me. And also consider joining our Discord. I'm in there all the time, free for anybody to join, talking about figures and whatever else you guys want to chat about. So yeah, that's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys very soon for the next one. And until then, take care. Later. Also, real quick before we go, I do want to thank the members over on the Patreon for continuing to support the channel, with special shoutouts going out to our highest tier members Swoop, Nemia Dynaskull, Christy Eisenman, Aki Rusu, DT Perigi, Kaif Marie, and Magnatune. Thanks a lot guys, your support means the world to me.